Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show. A viral video caught our eye recently about some women dancing and saying words like itty bitty titty and a bob. And we didn't understand it, but we were overcame with a feeling of blind, impotent rage. Um, so, in this video, we will try to analyze the patterns behind the video that causes men to become so violently angry about it. Here it is.
Gen Z boss and a mini, Gen Z boss and a mini, itty bitty titties and a bob, itty bitty titties and a bob, 5'3" in an attitude, 5'3" in an attitude, secret product in a trench, secret product in a trench, new friend green and a sneaky link, new friend green and a sneaky link, fake 10 hands in a hoop, fake 10 hands in a hoop.
So, that was the video. I hope you didn't enjoy it. And right now, we are going to have a conversation about what's behind it all. Have some fun. Yes. So I saw someone tweeting about this video, and I thought I'm gonna explain for once and for all why men around the world uh, think this video is annoying. So people say, "Oh, it's just girls being silly," like you just said. And this is what I responded to it. Girls just being silly is okay. However, girls just being silly on top of the ruins of bastions of masculinity that they just destroyed, sending millions into despair, is not okay.
Right.
How come these leftists with their empathy don't pick this up? That's what we hate about it.
Right. And let me add something to that. Being a man and not being capable of perceiving that is also seriously not okay. Some exceptions. There are young people who are younger who are maybe trying to figure it out. But yeah, like how can you lose the sense of smell? Basic sense of like, there's something here weird. Given our current, zeitgeist in our modern times, there's something weird there, isn't it? So yeah, I agree 100%.
So this is what I think about it. It's a while ago now. So I don't know. It doesn't matter that much to me. But I do think that that's annoying about it. They're in an sort of serious work environment, and they're just saying also the words they're saying. I don't even know half the words, I don't know what they mean. Itty bitty titties and a bob and Frank Link, Frank Ocean, or I don't know what they say. I know the meaning of some words now, but just the the lack of respect for that environment they're in,
Right.
and that reminds us just of the past where a work environment used to be more serious, and more
Right.
aligned with trying to do some serious thing, and
Yeah, something was actually happening.
and this just looks like, oh, it's all fallen apart, and they're dancing
Right.
on it.
Right.
I think that's what the visceral reaction that men have.
Right. And it shows almost like a lack of social ineptitude that also has become the norm in our times, which is like read the room, right? Just read the room. If I saw that video and you tell me that those are kindergarten teachers in a kindergarten, I would find it quite endearing, even a bit funny. I will be like, wow, that's really nice. I can relate. Had I been a little kid, I'm probably having fun there. Really nice. It's really nice that women do that stuff. It's actually sincerely endearing, right? If in the right context. But in this context, it's actually quite wicked. And again, I don't even blame them directly as individuals. But they are clearly failing to read the room and the weak men that surround them, kissing ass, are also like they lost their minds, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what to think about it objectively. If you know the context, it seems to be a female makeup company, and
Right.
they are probably doing real work, or they're making real money at least. There also a serious aspect to it, of course. And this was an advertisement, I believe.
Right.
So it's not like how we perceive it, what we feel when we see this, is not necessarily what is on the ground practically going on, but it's more interpreted as a symbol. This is just a snapshot from, oh, this is work culture now. This is how it
Right.
works now.
Right.
And we men just feel, oh, it used to be something greater than this,
Right.
and not this nonsense. But
Exactly.
to really see, we shouldn't zoom in too much on these actual people that are,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
how it practically is not what we're speaking about.
Yeah. I agree
It's more
with that.
about symbol.
Yes. Yes. It is symbolic of our times. How. Yeah, I mean, even the fact that it is, if you just take it on the more practical stuff, that is like, oh, it's just marketing and it worked, right? Because that's like the excuse that the people who refuse to see at the darker aspects of it usually give. Oh, it's just they're doing what works, right? And it's like, oh, okay, that's fine, yeah, sure. But however, why does it work though? Like, why would that work? Right? So that makes it even darker because it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are missing the plot here, and
Yeah, why
yeah,
does this appeal to people? Why do they
exactly.
think this is cute, silly, fun, cool?
Exactly. Imagine, like, it makes me think about times that I never lived and missed them, which is times in which men and women had dignity. Could you imagine that? We're all about to lose it. A lot of people have lost it, but I still can, you know, I still can see where it is not. And that is the problem here. There's no dignity whatsoever. And again, there is a context in which exactly the kind of stuff that they're doing is okay. I'm not attacking them or even the specifics of what they're doing. But yeah, there are contexts, and they failed at
Yeah,
reading the
the
room.
argument of, oh, it's an advertisement and it worked. That's just like, suppose that Germany would do an advertisement for beer, and they would say, this beer is too strong for Jews. It's only for real German men. Yeah, maybe it
Right.
works. Maybe a lot of the population thinks, yeah, I'm so cool, and the Jews aren't.
Yeah, or they
But
criticize it, but it still becomes viral, right? So, oh, it still works.
yeah, but that all doesn't matter if you want to speak about the essence. It doesn't matter
Exactly.
that's an advertisement. It doesn't matter that it worked.
Exactly. And the fact that they try to deviate people's attention to that specific thing is they're giving away, they're betraying the fact that they do have some sense that is wrong, and they're too cowardly to do anything about it. Because otherwise they wouldn't have they could just listen maybe to what people think and be like, oh, wow, that could be the case. It could be the case that we're dancing on the dead bodies of men, symbolically speaking. They wouldn't be afraid of thinking about it. They wouldn't instantly snap to the excuse of, oh, bro, they're just girls, or they're just working, all this stuff, right?
Yeah, but it is scary. I do have to give that to them. It is very scary if that's actually true, right? It's a very scary thought. And I read about
Correct.
a feminist that also had uh, Andrea Dworkin, I believe, that also said something like this, but for women. she said, if it's actually true that like patriarchy exists and women are like almost powerless victims in this, if that's actually true, that's very extremely hard to bear, just to accept that fact. So most women can't, was her point. Most women can't accept that. And I'd even say that most feminists like her even couldn't accept it without going crazy and violent and hateful, you know?
Right.
So there's some people who accept the hard truth, but they can only accept it by becoming evil themselves.
Right.
So that's also not true acceptance. But I thought that that quote was spot on, because you see that with women. I I have I have a feeling that I understand like the patriarchal exploitation system better than most of them, because they
100%.
maybe they speak about it or say I'm a feminist or future is female, but they haven't really grasped the essence
Yeah,
of
they
it because
support
it's
the
fucking
patriarchy that they
scary.
complain about. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, and they end up supporting specifically the aspects of the patriarchy that they pretend to fight against. Specifically
Exactly.
those.
And that's exactly, and now with this video and now in this era, it's a bit reversed, right? That women are now dancing on us and we are kind of powerless in a direct way to stop it. And that's similarly, that's also a very scary thought. It's hard.
Right, right. That's why
Yeah.
so much men come and say, "Yeah, bro, you have to be responsible for yourself. Just get your stuff together." And it's exactly that. It's fear. They don't allow themselves to actually see the thing first,
Yes.
and then, of course, there's a space to speak about personal responsibility and what have you. But if you're afraid to see the thing, why would I even consider listening to a man's advice about personal responsibility that doesn't even allow himself to see what is there to be seen?
Yeah, it's
Which is
like
cowardice.
walking into a burning house and then saying to the family there, "You gotta be responsible for yourself."
Right.
Blah blah blah. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, of course. That's why I called the firemen. You know, that's why I called
Right.
911. That's why I'm sitting here in a safe spot in the house. But I can't escape, as you see. You know, I'm
Right.
doing what I can, but
Yeah.
it's not like I can choose to that my house is not on fire now anymore. You know, yeah, I
Right.
could if like with a group you could choose that, but you can't just choose that.
Right.
And it's indeed a fair response. They always immediately say that, and I always wonder why. Why do you say that?
Because they're terrified and,
Do you
and
think that
cowardly.
I would, because their theory of what I would be doing would be so absurd. They think I don't take responsibility at all for my own things, and I just let everything walk all over me and just fall to the ground and cry. That's that's they're responding to me like I just did that. But
Right.
I never said that, I never did that, and I respond to them with evidence and proof that I didn't do that, but they just no, 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 no. But you shouldn't
Right.
say it.
Which is actually, it makes perfect sense to me because there's this quote, I think it was from William James, but I might be mistaken, that says something like, whatever you fill the blanks with regards to another person, is a reflection of your own character. So those men are
Ah,
describing themselves. They are cowards. They have no personal responsibility whatsoever. The only thing that they can speak of is, look how I did what fucked up women expected from me, and they accepted me. So that means I'm more of a man than you, and you should take personal responsibility. It's pathetic to the core. It's hard to watch for me. It's like, oh, tortured souls. What the fuck is wrong with them?
yeah, I think it's true that it's what they are
Yeah.
to a degree, that they
They're
might have had
broadcasting.
a period in their lives where they were like lazy slobs
No,
that
they are
didn't
right
take.
now. Otherwise, they wouldn't say that.
Yeah, probably it's probably still in them.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Because why would, because think about it. Let's suppose that that was the case, right? That they were in a position that they are higher than you, and they can see down to you and see you in a fucked up state. If they had actually reached that state, then they would have been through what you're going through in one way or another. So maybe they still could say something that is a little bit tough love type of stuff, but it wouldn't be aimed at convincing you that what you're looking at is not the case. Maybe they could enhance it. Maybe they could give you a different perspective or something. All of that is possible. But they certainly wouldn't react with that little fear, that little like, no, we gotta talk about this. No.
They wouldn't deny and humiliate.
Exactly.
Because I also do this sometimes. I also see sometimes a guy speaking about something. And sometimes I also have a question like, did you try this? If you done that, you can maybe perform a little more work here. And given how the guy responds, I can quite easily judge whether he's taking responsibility or not. Whether there's still something left in the can, so to speak, or if he's exhausted all options. So that would be how you do it, right? And some people did that to me. They came with a sort of open, but I suspected, of course, that it's not true openness. But I went along with it, because I just tried it. And when we reached the point where it was very clear that I'm not crying on the ground doing nothing, I am taking responsibility. I always did. Then they would just call me weird, or then they would still pivot to something else.
Right. Yeah, because they cannot handle because that would bring into the light that they are what they're describing, right? That they are projecting on you, and they cannot handle it. So it's like
that's not even what I'm saying. I'd leave open all possibilities for why they might be this way. But yeah, they are telling on themselves.
Yep.
I'm not judging them for it, Even if you don't take responsibility and you're crying on the ground, okay, you can do it. There are many ways to improve it. You would probably want that. Other people also depend on you. So for other people, it's also better. So I'd be willing to help you reach a better point, but I don't think you're bad or whatever, But they judge themselves. So they assume that others would also judge them like that. So they can't ever admit it in any public or private, in their heads, place.
Correct. Yeah, it's really sad. It's like they're tortured souls. Yeah, those who kill by the sword die by the sword. Those who judge others always judging themselves.